gone in there, even if I didn't have a weapon. That's what a 10-year-old says. I could beat up a lion. I could fight a lion if I had to.
In a fair fight.
What do you get when you put Ricky Dye, the master of unfiltered comedy, on live TV with the perfect chance to take shots at Donald Trump? Pure mayhem. Dye did not just poke fun at Trump. He went all in, leaving even the production crew struggling to keep it together. From his most outrageous tweets to that unmistakable hairstyle, nothing was spared. But did Trump strike back? Or did Ricky just land himself on Trump's list of least favorite comedians? Stay tuned, because this roast had more heat than a White House controversy.
In America, it's that 32% who say they're the disenfranchised, forgotten. You want to go, no. What's happened is, when you've had privilege so long, equality feels like oppression. They're basically saying, some people want some of our equality.
Yes.
Well, of course they do.
Yes.
That's it.
Damn them, damn their eyes. And one of them ended up president. That's the ultimate offence.
I'm nearly not.
Just like that, the world saw Ricky Dye doing what he does best, tearing someone apart with a sly grin and a glint in his eye. But this time, the target was no ordinary figure. No, this time, it was the man, the myth, the unmistakably tanned icon himself, Donald Trump.
Eva Longoria and America Ferrera aren't just beautiful, talented actresses. They're also two people who your future president, Donald Trump, can't wait to deport.
You would think that after enduring years of relentless mockery, harsh criticism, and becoming the internet's most memed politician, Donald Trump would have developed an unshakable tolerance. Like some kind of political survivor who just will not go down, no matter how many times the world tries to take him out. After all, he has weathered everything from impeachment trials to Twitter bans, scandals that would have ended any other political career, and a never-ending stream of late-night hosts ripping into him night after night.
Here is what Gervais specifically said during that interview. Why were people believing the most opulent billionaire on the planet when he said the problem was the liberal elite in Hollywood? I'm thinking, why are they falling for this? Why are they falling for Drain the Swamp? He is the swamp. That observation is 100% spot on. Anyone who believed that Donald Trump was somehow going to come in and drain the swamp was absolutely delusional.
But no, if anything, his sensitivity seems as sharp as ever. When Ricky took the stage, he did not just throw jabs, he went all in, like a comedian with a personal score to settle. Known for his savage Golden Globes monologues, the British comic unleashed a relentless barrage of punchlines, and let's just say Trump handled them about as well as someone who still swears by hairspray, spray tans, and a steady diet of fast food. Ricky was not just roasting Trump, he was torching him, delivering jokes hotter than a fresh bucket of KFC straight out of the fryer. And if there is one thing we know about Trump, it is that he thrives on attention, just not when he is the one being mocked.
In office for 10 years, that's where The Office sort of came from, but I also watched a lot of those quaint docu-soaps of the 90s when an ordinary guy got his 15 minutes of fame, and that was it. But now fame's a different beast. Now it's insatiable. People live their life like an open wound to be famous. They do anything to be famous. They do bad things to be famous, and they're rewarded for it. Since The Office, we've had things like, Big Brother and The Apprentice. People got on The Apprentice by saying, I would destroy anyone who moves. It's that sort of crazy.
First off, let's talk about Ricky. This man has built his entire career on one thing: saying out loud what everyone else is thinking but too afraid to voice. The Golden Globes? A battlefield of bruised Hollywood egos, all thanks to Ricky, who has left celebrities rattled, humbled, and probably wishing they had stayed home. And now, he has set his sights on the former leader of the free world, and let's just say, it was brutal. The jokes landed hotter than Trump's signature tan under studio lighting. There was a dig at his, let's call it, creative relationship with the truth. A shot at his infamous negotiation tactics, the ones where he makes grand promises, never delivers, and then blames literally anyone else when things fall apart. And of course, a nod to the time he suggested disinfectant injections as a medical solution. Oh yes, that one definitely got a reaction.
What if we just told him he got in? So he gets up every day, right, and he does a little address, and we go, yes, brilliant, I'm the president, and they're all extras.
Right.
They're all extras. And he just never knows. He was never president.
And we're filming it and watching it.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be amazing.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
I think he'd be up for it.
I bet he would.
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't even have to tell him, right? You would just say...
No, not yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe a year in, you'd say, here's the thing, it's been fake, but the ratings are huge. And he'd go, very good, I'll stop.
The best part? Trump will act like none of this ever happened. That is just how he operates. Just like he pretends he never lost the election, never did anything wrong, and that his spray tan is not just a little too intense. The man lives in a reality of his own making, where facts are optional, accountability does not exist, and truth is simply whatever he decides it is. And honestly, that is what makes him such an easy target. Ricky, the undisputed master of comedic destruction, did not just roast Trump, he obliterated him, leaving behind nothing but ashes and awkward silences. And let's be honest, roasting Trump is not exactly a challenge. The material practically writes itself. His tweets alone could pass as a stand-up routine. As for Melania, well, she might just be one poorly timed chuckle away from completely changing her life.
Angry. I was angry. Yes, I am angry. I'm angry. He's an angry person.
Every time she is caught on camera reacting to Trump's antics, it is like watching a hostage blink in Morse code. The internet lives for those moments, and if we are being honest, she probably does too. In the end, this was not just a roast, it was a public service. Because sometimes, the only way to handle absurdity is to laugh at it. And Ricky? Oh, he gave us enough laughs to last until the next election cycle. He even took shots at those desperately trying to endorse Trump.
Hi guys, Ricky G here, wellness and beauty influencer. As a celebrity, I know all about stuff, like science and politics. So trust me when I tell you who you should vote for. If you don't vote the right way, it's like a hate crime, and it makes me sad and angry, and I'll leave the country, and you don't want that.
And then, of course, there was Trump's reaction. Ever seen someone try to play it cool while completely losing it? That was him. He pulled out that signature tight-lipped, arms-crossed stance, the one that practically screams, "I am furious, but I have no idea how to respond without making it worse." You could almost see the all-caps Twitter rant forming in his mind, despite the fact that Twitter is no longer an option for him. But do not worry, Truth Social was about to get a serious workout that night. Ricky did not just roast Trump, he slow-cooked him, seasoned him with Himalayan salt, and served him up on a silver platter. And the best part? Every joke had a grain of truth. That is what makes a Ricky takedown so effective. It is not just about making fun of someone. It is about exposing the ridiculousness of it all. Like the time Trump held up a Bible in front of a church as if it were a poorly executed product placement, or the moment he boldly claimed to have done more for America than Abraham Lincoln, possibly the most ambitious rewrite of history since Titanic made people sympathize with a guy who simply refused to share a door. And let's not forget those classic Trump rallies, the ones where he would talk for 2 hours.
David Brent, you know, he was a sort of narcissistic man-child, but of the old variety. He can't survive in today's world of narcissistic man-children, mentioning no names.
Of course, you cannot take jabs at Donald Trump without mentioning his business ventures, or more accurately, his bankruptcies disguised as businesses. And Ricky? He went all in, shredding Trump's so-called empire like a chef picking apart a gas station sandwich. Let us start with Trump University, the pinnacle of corporate scams. A masterclass in taking people's money while teaching them absolutely nothing. Think of it like an Ivy League school, but somehow with even worse branding. Imagine forking over thousands for a real estate degree from a man who could not even keep a casino in business. Speaking of casinos, that is another level of financial disaster. How do you manage to lose money running casinos? That is like going broke selling oxygen. The house is literally supposed to win, yet Trump still managed to turn a guaranteed moneymaker into a complete financial meltdown.
Favorite reality show right now is the Trump drama that's going on in politics. What's your take on the Donald?
I thought it was a joke. I thought when he first announced, I thought he's having a laugh, he's doing it for publicity, and now he's ahead, isn't he? Now he's
number one in the polls.
Then, there was Trump steaks, because nothing screams luxury dining like overpriced cuts of meat slapped with a gold-lettered name. If you have ever wondered what disappointment tastes like, just ask anyone who dared to try one. Spoiler alert, even Arby's would not serve them. And let us not forget Trump Airlines, a venture that had about as much success as a paper plane caught in a hurricane. It crashed and burned, financially. Of course, long before it had a chance to compete with real airlines. Between that, his vodka brand that nobody drank, and a board game that made Monopoly look like high-stakes Wall Street trading, it is almost impressive how one man can fail at capitalism while still branding himself as a business genius. And then, of course, there is the hair. Ricky barely needed to say anything. Its mere existence is a punchline. And then, of course, there is the hair. Ricky barely needed to say anything. Its mere existence is a punchline. But he did anyway, and it was spectacular. Something about it looking like a wild squirrel trying to break free from a tanning bed. Honestly, that checks out. At this point, it seems like a living entity, defying physics, wind currents, and basic human decency. Scientists should really study it.
But Trump has more in common with David Brent than he has JFK. You know, he's a man who wants to be loved, who wants to be famous. You know, he was the host of The Apprentice. Yeah. You know, and he's clearly more ruthless than David Brent. And I think that's the difference. It's just harder. It's harder to have sympathy with him, I think.
Then there is Trump steaks, because nothing screams fine dining like overpriced meat with a flashy gold-lettered label. If you have ever wondered what disappointment tastes like, just ask anyone who had the misfortune of trying one. Spoiler alert, even fast food chains would not touch them. And let us not forget Trump Airlines, a venture that had about as much success as a paper plane in a storm. It financially crashed long before it could ever compete with actual airlines. Between that, his vodka brand no one wanted, and a board game so poorly designed it made Monopoly look like high-stakes Wall Street trading, it is almost impressive how many ways one man can fail at business while still calling himself a financial mastermind. And of course, there is the hair. Oh, the hair. Ricky barely needed to comment on it. Its existence alone is a punchline. But he did anyway, and it was priceless. He described it as something resembling a wild squirrel trying to escape a tanning bed, and honestly, that checks out. It has survived wind, scandals, and sweaty rallies in Florida heat, and yet it remains as if it has its own campaign running. Like a boxer taking relentless body shots, Trump's ego has been bruised countless times, yet he keeps pushing forward, convinced he is the lead hero in some grand action movie. The problem? Most people see him as the antagonist in an ongoing comedy special. Any form of criticism, in his mind, is just another chapter in a grand conspiracy against him. Because in Trump's world, if people are laughing, it cannot possibly be because he is the joke. It must mean the entire world is out to get him. And Ricky? Ricky gave us all a front row seat to a spectacle we never knew we needed. Because at this point, Trump is more than just a political figure, he is an entire entertainment franchise. A bizarre blend of reality TV star, stand-up comedy material, and social media meltdown all rolled into one.
Right now in the States, it's so divided. Have you seen that reflected in the audiences that you perform in front of?
No, I haven't. But I don't get very political. Certainly not party political. I do it implicitly. I talk about stupidity, misunderstanding, arrogance, lies, all these things that are part of politics.
His ability to make statements with unwavering confidence, no matter how wildly incorrect, is almost impressive, if not entirely terrifying. This is the same man who once claimed that windmills cause cancer. Yes, cancer. You could point at a clear blue sky, and he would argue it is red, but being censored by the so-called deep state. And Ricky? He knew exactly what to do with this endless supply of material. He did not just roast Trump. He slow-cooked him to perfection. Every joke was seasoned with just the right mix of sarcasm and disbelief, served on a silver platter for the world to enjoy. So while Trump may see himself as an unstoppable force, Ricky reminded everyone that, in the end, he is just punchline in the satire that is American politics. And honestly, that is the kind of comedy we all need right now. The best part? Trump will absolutely pretend like none of this ever happened.
Wasn't getting any attention, he couldn't stand it, and so then the Adderall McFlurry kicked in and he went right on.
At the end of the day, this wasn't just a roast, it was a public...
At the end of the day, this was more than just a roast, it was a public service. Because when faced with absurdity, sometimes the only thing left to do is laugh at it. In a world where reality often feels stranger than fiction, comedians like Ricky offer a much-needed escape, a moment of shared laughter, a collective sigh of relief. And Ricky, Oh, Ricky gave us enough material to keep us laughing all the way through the next election cycle. No teleprompter, no script, just raw, unfiltered truth wrapped in razor-sharp punchlines. And as long as Trump keeps pretending, the jokes will keep writing themselves.